Hello and welcome. This is Gordon De Silva, MD of Gordon's Night, and I'm here to introduce you to our hands-free bookkeeping. It's a modern-day process, away from the old days where we used to do our records on bits of paper. We used to have receipts all over the place, filing cabinets. We had Excel spreadsheets and all that sort of stuff. It was the old days, and let's talk about what you want as a result of a decent bookkeeping system. You want less paperwork. No one I know loves paperwork, and if you do, this is not for you, so turn off now. But if you really would rather have less than more, and maybe even none, then this is right for you. You want paperwork that's easy to retrieve and search, so you want to be able to find things. I remember the old days when I used to have to go to a filing cabinet, hope the file was still in the cabinet, and one of my colleagues hadn't taken it out. I then had to hope that the item was filed in the right place, and if it wasn't, it was anyone's guess how long it would take me to find a document. Now it takes me literally seconds to find documents, even if it's 3 years old. So we want easy retrieve, easy search. We want fast reporting. If we're doing accounts, we want it to be of value to us. We want to make sure that we get the best result on reporting that we can. So if we want to know how much cash we got in the bank in the last couple of days, we want to know now. We don't want to know at the end of the month. We don't want to know at some point in the future. We want to know now. If we want to know who owes us money, if we want to know how much money we owe, if we want to know how much VAT we owe, all of those sort of things we want now. We don't want to wait, and so we want good quality reports, and we want it fast. We want to be able to make better decisions. As a result of good reporting, the information you get from it will allow you to make better decisions. So that's a byproduct of faster reporting. And of course, you want to make more profits because of all of that. So, paperwork in itself doesn't help you make more profits, but if you can spend less time with all of this, just say you spend 5 hours less a week with bookkeeping processes, then that 5 hours could be spent calling some prospects, improving your sales conversion system, improving your marketing, improving your website, writing a blog, writing some tweets, improving your social media, a whole load of things that will give you more business rather than doing bookkeeping. So, and more business is what the game is on most cases, right? The old way of doing bookkeeping would be lots of paperwork, filing, storage. We've talked about that. At one point, I've got quite a long reception room, and the whole back wall of the reception room was full of filing cabinets, 6.5 foot high, and it was absolutely chock-a-block with paper. Now we have none. No filing cabinets at all. The only paperwork that really sits in our office are clients' records that come in that haven't gone through this process yet because the clients haven't quite bought into it yet. And that paperwork will then go back to the client, and they'll have to store it for years and years and years, which is really a pain and a problem for them. The old system involved hiring bookkeepers. Now that's great. If you've got a great bookkeeper, hold on to them. They're worth their weight in gold. But a lot of the time, it's not our job to hire bookkeepers. We don't want to guarantee them a day's work a week or 2 days work a week. What happens if there isn't 2 days work? What do they do then? Maybe some filing. How pointless is that, right? We want to get the work done. We want to get it done on time. We want to get it done when there is work, and when there isn't, there isn't. And so, if you haven't already got a bookkeeper that you absolutely love and you're about to hire one, or you're thinking about who's going to do your bookkeeping, whether it's you or someone else, think about whether you really should be doing it yourself. I talked about how much time you could spend getting more business in, and think about somebody like ourselves, or an outsourced bookkeeper who has a business of bookkeeping, who has many bookkeepers to look after your affairs, so that you never have to look for another bookkeeper. If somebody leaves on absence or maternity pay or sick leave or whatever, or even just leaves, people leave the country, people stop working, people move away, things change, circumstances change. The last thing you need is to have a hiring problem as a result of a bookkeeper going. It is unnecessary. It's not a great business model. All that time you spend interviewing, all that time you spend training that you've just lost, you've got to do again. And that's really, a hard process to do. So we recommend you avoid that. It costs a lot of money. If you multiply it by your earnings rate, it costs a huge amount. Maybe half useful because if you don't get any reports on the old system, and if you did, maybe they weren't so useful because they're always late and out of date. and as a result, you weren't able to make decisions from that information because you was too old to do that. So that's the old way. What's the new way then? Let's have a look at this. The new way is using technology, and I don't mean technology in the just faster computers. I'm talking about technology that exists online now. In the cloud, it's called. It's on a server in some other bunker somewhere. Just not at your desk. You don't have to worry about backing it up and all that sort of good stuff. So technology that typically you carry around in your pocket with you. Normally we carry great technology on top of our shoulders in our head. I'm talking about the technology that normally you carry around everywhere you go, and I'm talking about your mobile phone. We are looking at the new way of managing your whole bookkeeping process from your mobile phone. That's a promise that we can keep, and that's why it's hands-free, because you don't have to touch bits of paper and file it and all that sort of stuff. Your mobile phone and one or two other bits will cover it for you. We'll cover that in a minute. We want no paper, and I mean no paper. There's no need for paper in the bookkeeping world right now. And so if you're still holding on to paper and filing cabinets and old invoices, then consider that is an option you've chosen rather than a necessity. Okay, HMRC have agreed new ways. You want the paperwork to be easy to search and easy to access. You want to be able to, if you want an invoice from 2 years ago, you want to be able to find it in about a minute. You want to be able to get it on your desk in a printed form in under 10 seconds after that. So we're talking about 70 seconds to finding a piece of paper, even if it's 3 years old. That's what we want. We don't want to be looking for it. That is pointless. And we want reports when you want it. If it's 7 o'clock at night, you want it. If you want it on a Saturday, you want it. We don't need the bookkeeper to be there. We don't need your accountant to be there. We just want you to have the reports at a time and in a way that you want to absorb it. And whatever's convenient for you is what the right thing is for you. It's not what's convenient for anyone else. And you don't want any recruitment hassles. Your business is not the recruitment of bookkeepers. Your business is to do whatever your business does. It is not the recruitment of bookkeepers. And definitely we want it super secure and super easy, because if it is easy, you're going to use it. If it's not, you won't. If it's secure, it has to be, because you want your finances held securely. So let's look at the 4 sources of paperwork. I'm not going to be dealing with sales invoice here because they are the easiest of the lot. Many of our clients will use the software we provide for them to prepare the invoices they want, and it really does an amazing job. Others will do it on Word or Excel or something else and stick it into this system down the line. So we're just dealing with expenses here. So let's get started on that. The four sources. Paper. We all understand paper. Somebody posts you an invoice. It's a bit of paper. You go to a coffee shop and you buy a cup of coffee. You get a receipt. That's a bit of paper. You go to a car park and they give you a little receipt for that. That's a bit of paper. That's paper is one of the sources. Email is another. That's 90% of my business's expenses come by email. So if you get most of your invoices by email, this is going to be right for you too. I pay for a lot of my stuff on PayPal, and so if you have PayPal or some sort of electronic payment method, then that will work for you too. And of course, you've got cash and credit card receipts, statements and stuff, which could be coffees or DIY or stationery or whatever else is the other source. So those are the 4 main sources. There are maybe 1 or 2 that might slip in, but this is covers virtually all, if not all, of the paper sources that you're going to have, of expense sources. So what are the 4 handling methods for those pieces? Paper. 2 things you could do on it. If you have a scanner and you love scanning, scan it, stick it into your Dropbox or to your system, and it comes to us directly, and it's in your accounting program within a few days. And then it's available for you to search, print, review. Or you can just stick it into a tear-proof, waterproof envelope we provide, free post. You stick it in there, you stick it in a box, off it goes to our scanning center. £100,000 scanners available to scan really tiny bits of receipts or crumpled bits of paper, and the quality is incredible. And if you want, you can have an access to our training video on using that system, and you'll see how good the quality is of receipts. Email. If you get an email with an expense, you don't need to print it out. You don't need to save the download anywhere. All you do is you forward the email directly to an email address we provide for you. From one or two of email addresses, you may have your account's email address, you may have your personal email address, you may have your mobile phone email address. Each of those could be set up so that you can forward the email directly to an email address, and that ends up in your accounting software within a couple of days. And again, searchable, reviewable, clickable. PayPal, just order forward that as well, and that's then captured by the accounting software in our team to make sure that all your PayPal expenses are captured. And remember, all of these, by capturing the right expenses at the right time, you will save tax. Yeah, it's a lot of clients will pay more tax than they absolutely have to, simply because they lose receipts. Not the big ones for certain, but the small ones. The parking receipts, the coffee. Maybe £1,000 a year. That's £400 off tax for many of them. They could have saved because of it. Pays for itself. So cash, card receipts. We have mobile. We have a mobile app, a Gordon's Night app, as well as the software has an app. You just take a picture of the receipt from your petrol or from your coffee bar and just email it to the email address we give you, and it's captured. Yeah, as easy as that. Hands-free. Remember I said it was hands-free? None of that requires any handling other than sticking some paper in a bag, right? And that is very small bits of handling. What other considerations do we have? We've got security to consider. It's bank quality security. Okay, it's encrypted, great password control, and it's secure for you because you want your finances to be secure. Your bank statements, there's one or two ways of doing this. With certain banks, and if you're with certain banks, it's going to help you a lot and help us a lot too, is we can just have an agreement between you and your bank to supply the software with the data every day. So every day the bank just squirts out the transactions that have happened in the day to the software. Our team put it in, allocate it to the right place, and it's always accurate, of course, because there's no typing and there's no human interaction typing this stuff in. It's incorrectly, and then it's got to be allocated, and that's we have an accounting function to do that to make sure it's right. Credit cards, you can do a couple of things. You can either download it, or if it comes in the post, you can scan it. And again, we talked about scanning, or stick it in the envelope. So those are the ways of handling credit card statements. And of course, as soon as it's done, you can search this stuff online. It's indexed. You can search it by supply. You can search it by amount. You can search it by date. So if you bought an iPad from the Apple Store, 3 years ago, you can go, Apple Store. You can go, £600. You can go March 2000 and X, and up will come a list of invoices that fit that criteria. You pick the right one, PDF appears on your screen, print it out on the printer, it's in your hand. Yeah, that's how fast it is. 1 minute and 10 seconds or so. And of course, it's an HMRC approved. When doing it in HMRC, you don't approve these paperless offices. And so the VAT office will agree to it when they come and review your VAT. They'll be happy with it. And HMRC, if you have a tax investigation, which I hope you don't, because they're hugely horrendous, if you do, then they will accept these scanned copies too. And of course, by the way, you can download these copies to yourself, so you can store them on a CD, on a DVD, on your hard drive, on your Dropbox, on any other form of material you choose. So it's a great way of storing it. And something like 10 filing cabinets will fit on one DVD. That's that's how good these things are. You can make 2 or 3 copies if you like. Fees, around 75p a transaction. We'll always agree fixed fees with you when we know exactly what you want, how you want it, how much is involved, and how complex it is. There's a matrix, isn't there? Some businesses are super simple. They're really easy. One invoice in, invoices out. Really easy. Some people have factoring. Other people, have deadlines. And so on. So invoice discounting. There's a whole range of little bits that come in. We just need to make sure we understand what you have and the volume you have. The bigger the volume, obviously you get quantity discounts because our team is more efficient, working on it for a day, 3 days, whatever. If it's a small number and you want it processed every week or every month, it just changes. But it's modest, certainly compared to hiring a competent bookkeeper, and I challenge anyone to be able to get a decent set of bookkeeping done from a competent bookkeeper at less than this would cost, for less hassle, certainly. We also include in our fee scan handling, storage, bookkeeping, access, linking to accounts, reconciliations. All of that is included within this fixed fee, because what we want to do is not come to you and go, well, that was a bit of a problem, it took another 17 hours, or that was a problem, we had trouble reconciling, it took 3 hours, because you never know whether it's because we're inefficient or because there was a real problem. So coming to you with flexible fees can sometimes end in tears, because you go, well, how do why did it take so long that time? And so rather than argue time, if it's a finite number, like a transaction number, then you and I both know that's the number of transactions, and a fee based on that is a fair method of calculating a fee. And once it's agreed, it works for you and works for me, and it's important that we both like the outcome of that. The accounts program that we use is either financed by us, or if you want really the top level, it's another £10 a month or so for a really amazing piece of software. Great piece of software, well acclaimed. Thousands and thousands and thousands of UK users, very secure, easy to use, very impressive for you, and to be able to send invoices out to your client, statements out to your client, really good. Definitely recommend that. And of course, because you're using the software, because you're using the system, reporting is on request. So if you want to go in at midnight on a Wednesday night, because that's the time you just want to know how much you're owed by a certain client before you go and see them tomorrow, you just click on it, you go into it, and within 10 seconds you will know how much that client owes. You will be able to print out a statement, you will be able to print out copy invoices, so that when you go to that meeting you can go, hey, by the way, before we get going, you owe me some money, can we clear that before we get on with new business? And so that's the quality of the reporting you get. It is really good. So what's the next step? If you like what you've heard so far, you like the simplicity, you like the paperless, you like the ability to be able to get what you want when you want it, and you want to be able to find things quickly and easy, just think how much time that could save. This could be a no-brainer for you, but it's up to you to consider it more carefully. How we do that is in two stages. One is a quick 15-minute call. The 15-minute check call is to make sure that you understand the process and I understand what you need very quickly, just to get a sense whether we're talking to the right people. You're talking to us, and whether we're talking to you. Is there a match, right? If there's a reasonably good match in that 15 minutes, it will only take that long. We then agree a longer meeting. That typically could be 45 minutes. Again, there's no charge for this. And that 45 minutes delves a little bit deeper into what your business is like, what sort of paperwork, whether you have factoring or discounting, whether people pay on time, are you always going to be chasing, whether you pay your expenses by credit card or whether you pay them by check. Those sort of things have an impact. We'll cover that in the 45-minute consultation. It's all scheduled out and the questions are all ready to ask. We, in fact, get some of those pre-filled by you before that starts. If all goes well, then you choose the package that you want, what reporting you want, what sort of accounting software you want. We have a choice of 3 or 4, from really amazing to really good, and you can choose whichever one of those you want, and we'll advise you based on what your needs are and who is in your team. And then, all things being well, agree a fee, get started. So that's as simple as it needs to be. If you'd like to go forward to the 15-minute call, you can call a number, you can talk to us on Skype. There's my Skype address. Just get in touch with us. Let's get started on a 15-minute call. See if we're right for you and you're right for us. If we are, you will be amazed at how easy bookkeeping can be and how much information you can get to make more profits. Find data, it just saves time, saves effort, saves energy, helps you sell more. I look forward to speaking to you on that call. All the best until then. Goodbye.